What up, homies? It's your boy Coach Meta, and we finally back. So we're on to Sub-Zero, man. Coolest character in the game, literally. Yeah. So, let's talk about him. The first thing about this character is that we had to decide: is he a mixed character or not? Like, is he a strong, neutral, anti-zoning kind of high mobility type character, or is he someone who wants to put you in block stun and then make you guess? So we may make two videos on him. I know we're definitely making this one. In this first one, we're gonna commit to the mix, right? We're gonna overheads, lows, you guess, I win. If I'm wrong, you win. Like, that's how I feel. There should be under no circumstance, if I make you guess, should I then get to blow you up, right? Without having to commit. So like, if I go overhead into ice ball, I'm dead if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I get to hurt you. And the same thing with the low, you know what I'm saying? This is basically the mix he has right now, but we're gonna change that. We're gonna add layers to that, because I feel like if he is going to be a mixed character, he should have more than just overhead. So let's get into it. First things first, somebody get a hold of Ed Boon and friends. Tell them to have their people call my people. I'm there, and we making this game great again. I would actually really love to work for them. On a personal level, I'm having way more fun messing around with these characters in the lab than I am actually playing the game. We got Mash House out here. Shout out to the Mash House boys. But I just don't like playing the game, because the game, I don't feel like I can be me. I don't feel like I can express who I am as a fighting game player playing this game yet. So my ideas to change that type of stuff is my ideas in these videos. So Sub-Zero, like I said, the archetype, we're gonna go rush down mix. His entire game is getting in and putting you in block strings with overheads and lows in them. And that's how we're gonna fight as Sub-Zero, as his base character, right? Now, in order for Sub-Zero to be a mixed character, he needs more mix. And we're gonna start with this string right here. Alright, so that second hit, that's gonna be an overhead now. And we're gonna keep it -8, because he can't combo off of that. Now he can hit confirm this, but then he has to die. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna just keep it as is, except we're turning that middle move into an overhead. This string, I haven't decided if I wanted to really make this a mid yet. So for this variation of Sub-Zero, the rush down mix, we're gonna keep this a high. But this right here, that's now an overhead. Now, we have to make changes to this one, because this is safe. So if you block all three, he's safe. But we're gonna make that move right there, whatever the block advantage has to be on the negative end to make the third hit what do you call it? Flawless blockable. We're gonna let you do it, because this is safe, and then you can do something like this. You can cancel at the end into more safety, more chip. So we're gonna make this flawless blockable. Now there will be ways, we'll find the sweet spot where you can do back 1-4 into like slide, and it's not flawless blockable, something like that. But that's just gonna be what it is. As far as we're gonna add some mix to his base move set. Now his default custom moves, we're gonna make ice ball. Right now it's two slots. We're just gonna make it base, but we're gonna change the ice ball. Instead of it being a mid, it's gonna be a high. So you can neutral duck it, but it'll still do what it does. It'll still win any projectile trade. And I have cold shoulder up here, but that's only because we're making slide base regardless. We're taking away the conflict with cold shoulder. So me personally, I want to change the input for slide to back 1-4, and the input for cold shoulder to back forward back 1-4, back forward 4, and the input for cold shoulder to back forward 3. And that's basically what we're gonna do with his core. He's Sub-Zero, he's got an ice ball, he's got slide. That is base Sub-Zero in this game, which means his customs are gonna really define who he is as a character and how you play Sub-Zero, which I think would make him much cooler. Now getting into the customs, the biggest change to a single custom we're gonna make is cold shoulder. First things first, we're making it a 2-slot move, and there are reasons for it. First thing, it's minus 20 right now. We're making it safe, and I mean safe. Minus 5. Why? Because he's minus 5 now. That's why. Because I said so. So if a Sub-Zero wants to do this and stay safe, you know, take away that gap that we added in there, he can do that. If he wants to do this, he can do that. If he hits you, it's about 10%. It is what it is. Now he can hit confirm into the crushing blow, but for the most part, he's gonna be safe, right? Now, the reason we're moving it to 2 slots is because I noticed he's got this little shield in front of him. So we're gonna make this move better. If you throw a projectile at him and I cold shoulder, I'm projectile immune. All right, but we're gonna go another level, another layer. If I absorb the projectile, essentially that's what he's doing. This recovery at 30, we're gonna lower that to like, I think 6, 7, something where I get to do this, and then if it's my turn. Now I have to take into account the recovery on these projectiles people are throwing, so it may not be 6 frames, maybe like 10 frames. But that's what we're gonna do if I absorb a projectile. Now if I don't, this recovery at 30, I don't want him just throwing this out for free, right? Just in neutral, throwing it out for free to get in because it's safe. Nah, fam. So that recovery at 30, I was gonna say 60, but nah, not that much, like 45. So if he just throws this out in neutral and he whiffs on it, like if you bait a projectile, you know, and he's thinking, oh man, here comes a projectile, and I slide in because I'm a cold shoulder Sub-Zero, you can bait and punish me for doing that. Creeping ice, the only thing we're gonna change, bruh. All right, I was doing it wrong. The only thing we're gonna change is we're taking away the flawless blockable gap, because this variation right now on screen, I named it quietly aim. Basically, this is safe zero. This is for the Sub-Zero player who wants to be safe. You just want to be safe. You don't want to commit to anything. Now, to get your damage, you're gonna have to hang yourself or hit confirm. So you can still hit confirm this into ice ball. You can still, you know, throw out the meter burn ice ball to get your forward 2 game, but you gotta hang yourself. So that's kind of what it is. If you want to play Sub-Zero for his movement and his buttons and all that, but you want to be safe, you're gonna pick cold shoulder and creeping ice. Now on the cold shoulder, we're only making this safe. The meter burn version, we're still gonna allow you to delay it, but it's still gonna be punishable because there is a crushing blow attached to it, and I don't want you just like fishing for this and then throwing this out because of the delay. Nah, fam. Now it will be a bit of a mind game, but if you block and you guess right and you make the right read, you're gonna be able to punish them. Because like I said, tit for tat, bro. We're not just gonna let you do anything for free. Like, you know, if you're gonna be mixing, you're not getting a ton of damage every time you mix unless you commit, and you die if you're wrong. So that's what we're gonna do with cold shoulder and creeping ice. Oh, hold on, almost forgot. Cold shoulder, 11 frame startup. Yeah. So now that we got safe zero out there, thin ice is essentially gonna become our zone zero. So for you, M2 Dave and Sunio and, you know, those types of guys who you like zoning, right? You like just throwing stuff at your opponents and keeping them out. This is going to be your character. Now, none of these have meter burn versions, and I think that's what kind of holds them back from being not, I wouldn't say not viable, but they're definitely not as useful as other things you could have. Yeah, that's minus 12. See, like Polar Axe I think is actually pretty good, but we're gonna add something to it to make it worth, you know, using a turning slot for. So meter burn Air Polar Axe is going to stun. Yeah, it's gonna stun. You're gonna be able to finish up with a combo. I can't decide if I want to allow you to ice ball. So like if you hit the stun, I don't know if I want you to necessarily be able to come up and do that. So we're not gonna allow it. It's gonna stun, basically hit him in the leg, and it's gonna freeze him, and then you can go into your combo. Essentially, you know, most likely some kind of push away combo. Now, Frigid Storm and Death Circle Barrage. The problems I feel with these moves is the startup. Because first of all, I want to bring the option to zone to the game in general. And if you're equipping these three moves, we're not going to say necessarily you're the best zoner in the game, but you can compete with other really strong zoners. So how we're going to do that is Death Circle Barrage. We're going to give a meter burn version. It's going to essentially be the same as Frost's when she's throwing the shurikens out her chest. It's just going to extend it, add some pushback to it, and basically make it safer. Like, there won't really be a way to punish it if I finish a string in it and I just push you back, push you back, push you back. We're also cutting down on the startup, so we're gonna go down to like 23 maybe on Death Circle Barrage, because the Death Circle Barrage to me is more of a zoning tool. Now Frigid Storm is more of a space control tool. So what we're gonna do with that, we're gonna start at half it, 18 frame startup. Initially, we may have to, you know, bump it back up. But what we're gonna do with Frigid Storm is make it a 18 to 21 frame startup move, so I can use it like in this situation. And then the meter burn version is he's basically gonna do it again. But we're gonna add a defensive bar to it. Why? Because it's a mid that takes up so much space. So he's basically gonna throw out one and then meter burn it and throw out another one, and it's gonna push you. It's just gonna push you back. Can't decide if we'd like to make there, you know, like a gap where you can flawless block the second hit, but we're gonna no gap, because we're gonna take a defensive bar, because this is more of a defensive move than Death Circle Barrage. This is more of a zoning move. This is more of a space control move. So we're gonna allow you to spend an offensive and defensive bar to meter burn it. He's gonna throw out another projectile, and you're gonna lose a defensive bar. So if you want to keep somebody out, you spend the defensive bar. If they still get in, then you're gonna get punished for not having that defensive bar. So it's kind of up to you as far as how you want to manage your meter. But it's also gonna make Frigid Storm an even stronger move in zoning and in neutral, because it's almost like the Cetrion's tornado move. You can just kind of throw it out because it's a mid. It's got good space to it. But if you meter burn it, he throws out another one. So if somebody jumps over this one in neutral, you'll have another one waiting for him, if you have an offensive and defensive bar. So that kind of becomes the entire game of how you want to play this zoning variation. You know, control this space. You don't necessarily want to get in and mix. You can kind of be safe with your mix, but even then, it's like you're getting 10%. So this is going to be more of the zoning type character for the Sub-Zero players who want to play the Sub-Zero. Once again, you know, they like his buttons, they like his movement, but they don't necessarily want to get in, go crazy, and just mix all over the place. Now we're gonna get so now we get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty with the Sub-Zero, because now we're talking about the stuff that kind of changes him as a character. So Arctic Trap, kind of unusable, and so far with the variations I've come up with, kind of like not even viable. We're gonna change that. First thing, we're gonna point out that this string right here, 214, this is the string we're gonna give a hard knockdown to. Meaning you can't wake up roll. You can still wake up, but you can't wake up roll forward or backward. And that's gonna allow him to set up his trap, because on hit, it's 30 frames of hit advantage. Arctic Trap starts up in 41. Nah, fam, and it lasts on the screen for 3 seconds. We're gonna change that to about somewhere between 30 and 33, so that when you end combos like this, or if you hit if you end up with back two, you can get the Arctic Trap out. There is no meter burn version of this move. We're gonna add a meter burn version out. Anybody who played Injustice 2 knows that Dr. Fate had a move where he just had this kind of like traveling orb. We're gonna let Arctic Trap Sub-Zero do that. Offensive bar, defensive bar. you're gonna be able to throw this out and it's gonna move across the screen. And on block, it's gonna be plus, let me see. That's at 19 frames, so we'll say plus 15 on block. So you have, if a Sub-Zero wants to throw this out and then force it across the screen at you, you now have to block it. You can jump over it, you know, and it's not gonna get bigger. But what it is gonna do is it's just gonna move across the screen. He can follow it in to close space against like a zoner. So this is kind of be his version of the cold shoulder, since you're not gonna be able to equip both because they're both 2 slots. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do with Arctic Trap. It's gonna by itself, quicker startup. We're gonna have it off the hard knockdown so you can actually set it up, and then we're gonna have a meter burn version that basically moves across the screen. If you're caught not blocking, you get frozen. If you block it, you're minus somewhere between 10 and 15. Like I said, everything would have to be tested, but that would be the general idea with Arctic Trap. Now this is where we're gonna get a little crazy. A little crazy. Ground ice, it's weird, man. It is weird. It's tourney banned right now. We're gonna make ground ice, first of all, legal. Second thing, this right here, we're not gonna change this. So basically what it does is oh, we are gonna change the startup. We're gonna put it at about 38. Something where, once again, off the hard knockdown or off this move right here, I put you in a situation where you're trapped. You can't spend any bar, you can't flawless block me, but you're not captured. You know, you're just in a situation where you can't move. And if you aren't necessarily hit by it, it's gonna stay on the screen for, we're gonna put 180. And if you land on it, once again, you can't move. Meter burn version, no longer a low. We're gonna make it unblockable. It's just gonna be something where you have to deal with it. Now, we're gonna keep that startup. It says 45. That's a weird place to put it, because we don't want him to be able to knock you down and then just throw out ground ice. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, we're gonna keep it at about 45. You're not gonna be able to block it. You'll be able to jump over it. And in some cases, if you make a hard read that he's gonna do it, see, what's the recovery on this bad boy? Can't see the recovery. 43. Yeah, we'll keep it at about 43. So if you make the read that he's gonna throw this out, you can jump over him, but you can't land in front of him, because for about a half second after he throws it out, all the ground is still gonna be frozen. So like, say you're here and you jump over me and you can't hit me, you're gonna end up getting frozen on the ground. So the last place you wanna be is in a hard knockdown situation, where then I can set up ground ice. But that's what we're gonna do with ground ice. And of course, we're keeping it 2 tourney slots. Rising ice. Now this will be a move where a lot of the mix is gonna come from, because already I was told this is safe. It's not, bro. It's minus 24. We're gonna keep it unsafe, but rising ice becomes a launcher and a low. So off this, we're essentially gonna make this the old meter burn version, where he can kind of recover and then come off the ground and, you know, hit you with stuff, continuous combos. You know, sometimes back 2 ice break. You know, sometimes stand 1 into something else. But the low meterless, it's gonna launch, but it's gonna be death. You're gonna die. So if you throw out rising ice, if you're right, you get a little bit of a combo. If you're wrong, you die. Meter burn rising ice. Now it's no longer a low. What we're gonna do is, you know, there's no block stun. It's gonna become a overhead launcher. Now he used to have a move, and I think it was MKX, where he would basically fashion or burn, you know, some kind of hammer in the air and come down. So what we're gonna basically do is turn this move into this move, and it's gonna launch straight up, something where he can get, you know, like a stand 1 into into some kind of follow-up combo, maybe even into the low launcher, and then or he could, you know, hit the ground, stand one, back to ice ball. But both options, once again, they're death on block. So both of them launch, both of them are death on block. You're fighting a rising ice Sub-Zero, you're gonna guess. You're gonna guess and you're gonna guess and you're gonna guess. But when you're right, you get to punish. And you get to punish, and you get to punish, and you get to punish. And that's how we're gonna do ground ice and rising ice Sub-Zero. And so now the second video for Sub-Zero, we're gonna make him much more of a neutral based character. And you know, he has tools for kind of everything, kind of like I wouldn't say a Shoto, but somebody who's just extremely balanced. But for this version of Sub-Zero, the first one bringing out the box, mix everywhere, mix, low, overhead. He's gonna come down and out of that animation. You're not gonna get hit low as he's rising. He's just gonna come down immediately and get a launching overhead. Ground ice, it's legal, folks. You know, bringing it out the box, you're gonna deal with it. You're fighting a ground ice Sub-Zero, you're dealing with it. You're fighting a cold shoulder Sub-Zero, you're dealing with it. You're fighting thin ice Sub-Zero, you're dealing with it. You're fighting, you know, any one of his custom moves, you're dealing with that move, and it's you know, kind of changes the way he plays, so that you can see Sub-Zero and you can pick and choose how you want to fight every character in the game, the way Mortal Kombat should be. Did I just quote the movie? Yeah, that's the way it's gonna be, man. So if you agree with my ideas, you know, leave a like, leave a comment. If you disagree, tell me why. You know, let's get in the lab together. Let's, first of all, somebody like I said, Ed Boon and friends, get them in here and let's talk about this stuff, bro. Let's really discuss what we would like to see if in fact an overhaul comes and they finally make this game as good as it can be. Because like I said, just looking at all this stuff, I don't think he needs more. I just think every one of these moves, there has to be a reason you equipped it. It has to do something. And it changes matchups. It changes the way he fights. It changes the way he defends. It changes the way he zones, everything. And this character is actually, you know, I think the character is kind of done right. It just wasn't complete. And I feel like my ideas complete him and then allow him to, you know, fight into every matchup. Because I don't think Sub-Zero should be, you know, necessarily S tier, but I think he should be a strong character who can fight anybody in the game. So like I said, if you got comments, thoughts, if you want to argue, go ahead, put in the comments, leave a like, and the next videos are definitely coming because I'm back to it. So thank you guys for watching. Hey homies, shout out to Pride by Katana for most of the music I use in the vids. Be sure to follow on social media. I follow back. Links to all that info in the description. For more content, be sure to subscribe and click one of the links at the end of the video for more videos. Please continue to watch, like, share, and repeat. Thank you.